Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to bring you back to another fantasy football podcast from the FLOOG, the Fantasy League of Ordinary Gentlemen. I present to you the Flu.
That was like a Postmaster General's disclaimer, you know.
I'm trying. I want to be consistent, and you guys know I get excited.
Of course.
I don't know what to do with my hands. I don't know what to do with my verbiage.
If only we were videoing your hands.
Yes, and
they would be so fucking hype.
No, I get shakes now. But thank you. I've been trying to get something consistent.
I like that.
We were just talking about before we pressed the record button. So yeah, welcome to the Fluke Fantasy Football Podcast. Check us out on www.thefluke.com. I am the commish, Joshua T.A. Hicks. You can find me on Twitter at jhicks804. And alongside me, the Morgmart himself, the philosopher, Mr. Morgan Heath, found on Twitter at Morgmart. What's up, homie?
What's up, big guy?
Good, man. I mean, you came over. We made it a full evening tonight.
I know you fed me. I gave your son life lessons that I'm sure he's not going to retain. I rambled a little bit.
He was definitely listening, which is like...
He's a good listener when he wants to. When it's me.
Yes. When it's not the parent.
When it's not y'all.
Yes, because we are balls deep in terrible twos.
Oh, boy. Ain't that the truth? He's a sweet kid, but damn, bruh. Can't wait till you turn 3. Yeah. Well, you know what I mean. I ain't trying to wish your boy's life away, but, you know.
Yeah, he... I don't know. I've heard 3 is no better, but hey, we'll see.
It can't get much worse.
Yeah. So he did find out he's going to be a big brother, and then we found out that he's going to have a tag team partner. This is another boy. We just found out this week. So,
I was talking to Laura about this earlier, but the force runs strong in this podcast. So the commissioner has one boy currently, another on the way. My nemesis, Gary, has a boy. Shane has 2 boys. Mm-hmm. Y'all are just, look at y'all.
It's almost like on the resume for applying for the
just
job.
A bunch of bucks.
you must produce males.
Yeah, so I don't have any kids yet. So if I miss the mark here, I'm out. No, I appreciate that. Y'all let me. I think I would make a good dad either way, girl dad or a boy dad.
You would. I mean, like I said.
And if not, I'll set up a college fund for everybody else's kids. See if they have something.
Uncle Morgan.
Yeah, man.
Uncle Morgan. But that's what's up. Glad to have you back. You were a little under the weather last week, so we're here.
Yep.
You and I are rocking it right now. Ty is traveling. He's up in New York.
Is he going to hit a stadium?
I mean, the odds are on that he's going to go somewhere.
He's going somewhere, right?
So I'm sure. I mean, it's New York. There's plenty of them.
Yeah.
So he's doing that. Gary's on his family vacation. He's in Jersey.
Yep.
Ocean City.
Yep.
So I think his mom is the middle of like 15 or 16. So with all the cousins, I think there's 30 some people at this house.
Wow. Great googly moogly.
Yeah. He'll tell us more next week, but yeah, it's I went 1 year with him when we were probably still in high school, so damn near 20 years ago. But yeah, it was pretty wild. And I mean, is this before we could drink?
Was this lots of New Jersey accents coming out? Yeah, it was pretty thick. I bet
it was.
Well, it's not like a Southern accent. Southern accents are thick. Like I have a Southern accent, even though I can't hear it in myself. I'm sure all of you guys can. But my wife has this very New Jersey accent. Even though she's been here longer than she was in New Jersey, it still sticks. And it's sharp. It's something. I tell you, some of those words will really like raise an eyebrow. Like, what did you say?
What did you call me this time?
Conversely, I say some things. It's like, are you a bumpkin? So I get it.
So yeah, those guys are traveling. Shane is going to do his best. He should be on later to join us. Tonight we're talking NFC West.
Ooh, what a division.
2 more divisions. We got this division and then AFC West next week. Kind of wish we would have got to this division last week with the Cam Akers injury, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
Before we jump into it, guys, of course, check out the website, www.thefluke.com. I think I already said that, but shameless plugs.
There's no shame in that plug, sir.
The group Twitter is the Flug_FF. They're on there. Subscribe 5 star reviews, Spotify, iTunes, and Podbean.
Yep. Speaking of the Fluke, it's official.
Oh yeah,
we're doing the Fluke Fest.
Yes,
it is. Oh man.
We announced it last week.
Yes, I wasn't here. Sorry,
I didn't give too many details, but we said it was Guillotine. We kind of let Shane. I mean, Shane's baby, so we kind of pumped the brakes. I mean, of course, it's hard to hide the excitement.
I feel like this league turns into some sort of like accelerated evolution, because the league changes drastically from year to year, yet the premise is the same, to get as many of us together as possible to do this, and as many people as possible in person. That's kind of the gig. You can't be in the Fluke Fest. If you don't participate in Fluke Fest, you're not going to get to draft a team. So it's a great thing. I highly recommend it for everybody. It's just a good community-based thing as far as socializing, and it's a good thing to do.
Yeah. Yes. Now live. I mean, almost all our drafts are live now.
Almost all of them, yeah.
It's the way. I mean, it must be done.
I feel like too, particularly in our dynasty leagues with the live drafts, there's so much more nuance to trading on draft day, and it's a whole lot. It's facilitated much better in person. You know what I mean? Trying to trade picks with no tone sucks. But when you can sort of talk to people and feel it out and have good conversations, it makes your ability to trade that much better. And I think that was evident this year with our Luchador draft. We had more trades in that draft than we've ever had.
Yeah, that's our for our listeners, that's our 12-team 1 QB fantasy league.
Right.
I think we said 16 trades, 15 trades.
Yeah, which it was great. I mean, it was chaotic, but it was great.
Yes.
Some people ended up with, I think, more draft picks next year than they have roster spots.
There's one that Dan has more.
He'll figure it out. I'm sure he'll navigate it.
Yeah, but I mean, so we do, just for example, to get out there, one of our 16 team, we have a 16 team redraft league that we've had for over a decade.
Yeah.
And
I guess that would kind of be like our home league, right?
Yeah.
Is what you would consider that?
And that takes, I think our rookie draft takes almost as long.
The rookie draft took almost as long as an entire startup draft, basically, or a redraft draft.
But I mean, in my opinion, it's more exciting because you have, I mean, everybody should know this, but you have more, you can negotiate the whole time. Like, you're not just sitting there twiddling your fingers.
Correct.
Or drinking.
And of course, I always strategically sit beside the person who's going to drink the most.
Yes.
Because I'm talking to that guy.
Yes. So, I mean, you're working trades the whole time.
Got to.
Yeah, I mean, that's Fluke Fest. Shane will be on here in a little while, hopefully. And hopefully we'll learn some more about Fluke Fest.
Yeah.
We do know it's August 14th.
Correct.
So 2 weeks from this coming weekend.
That's the heart of vacation season for a great many people.
It's either vacation season or, I mean, like I tell my wife, of course, coin flip if it goes over or not, but August is draft month.
It is. I like drafting a little bit before August in most scenarios, but I can understand a redraft.
Well, redraft.
In redraft, I understand why you wait till then.
Yeah.
But yeah. So we've got a really, really, in my opinion, we've got a freaking great conference division we're going through today.
In my opinion, I mean, so last year the NFC East was super tight, but that maybe because of the lack of.
There was so much parity in a bad way.
Yeah.
Like everybody was beat up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But this division is tighter, more stacked because of the talent.
Correct.
And all of the, I mean, fantasy and like NFL wise, there's a lot of talent in this division. Yeah,
I mean, you and I were discussing some parallels earlier between the quarterbacks in this. It's pretty interesting,
It's, we were spinning out numbers, of course, before, and like, oh, there's that. So we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. It was just interesting doing a little pre-talking about some of these things and finding out that we were both having the same thoughts on it. It's kind of a cool thing.
So. Yes. Shall we dive?
I think we should.
Shall we dive? All right, let's do our first game. Let's start with the Cardinals.
Alphabetically correct?
Yes, as far as I know. Let's go ahead and talk about again, from a fantasy standpoint, what they did in the draft. Only one real name worth of noting. In round 2, they took Rondale Moore, wide
Mhm,
receiver out
mhm.
of Purdue. I'll get to it in a minute, but almost making this wide receiver crew a little murkier.
Yeah, a little bit. I think well, he's probably going to be battling for it. I think a lot of it depends on how much depth they want in their wide receiver sets, right? So if
Yeah.
they go like spread offense and run 5 wide receivers, there's plenty of room for these guys. It's a high passing offense, but I think Rondale Moore's probably going to be fighting with Andy Isabella for playing time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I think your other people are pretty established and set. Um, you're right. Rondale Moore is really the only notable fantasy asset to speak of,
Mhm.
at least from this year. But there's actually quite a few wide receivers there. And, you have Hopkins and you have recently acquired AJ Green,
Mhm.
who personally, I don't know that was the best of signings, but I think you take a shot, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, you just see if there's anything kicking the old tire, maybe.
Mhm.
And then you have Christian Kirk, who had some up and down games last year. And I feel like last year and maybe even the year before, I really had some hope, maybe even more so the year before for Christian Kirk.
Yeah,
But he struggles.
he's
But I guess the interesting thing for me is that I have this much uncertainty about a team that threw the ball 500 plus times last year.
Mhm.
Over 550 times they threw it. And yet, if you actually look at where these receivers finished last year, the only one who had a good finish was Hopkins.
Yeah, which
He was the wide receiver 4 in PPR.
yeah, and he got
160 targets. That's elite target share for sure.
that's nuts, dude. And I mean,
And if you think about it, he only had 115 catches. So that means that he actually didn't catch 45. That's kind of a lot,
yeah.
really.
Nuke's. Yeah,
He's still obviously a great fantasy asset,
absolutely. I think
especially in a pass heavy offense.
absolutely, and I think from if you look at Dynasty, I think his name is kind of, I don't know. It's like you don't discuss it as much as you used to.
Yeah.
But I mean,
He's sort of slipping as far as like, I think there was a point in time where people may have thought he could have been a consensus wide receiver 1.
he was.
But that's not. I think he could still get there. I actually think he has an easier shot at topping his catches this year. If say he holds an 160 target share again, right?
Mhm.
And all he's got to do is convert on 10 more of those targets, and he's already done better than he did last year.
Absolutely. Kind of a transition, I guess.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this. So we said AJ Green's gone. I'm sorry.
Added.
Fitz is not on the team right now. He's free agent. He hasn't retired.
Right.
He's freeing up 72 targets.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't think Nuke is going to get any more than 160.
That's a lot. That's a lot in the first place.
Yeah, and then you're adding 2 wide receivers. You're on AJ Green and Rondale Moore again, and then 72 targets are freeing up. And then you have Andy Isabella still there. Keyshawn Johnson is still there.
Right.
So
I don't feel. I think Keyshawn Johnson. I don't know. I don't know that he's going to get a lot of playing time, especially with the drafting of Rondale Moore.
Yeah, if you're going 4 wide,
yeah,
right now, week 1, you're going DeAndre Hopkins, Christian Kirk, AJ Green, and probably Rondale Moore.
Yeah, I would think so. And I don't think there's a lot of. I think Rondale Moore actually has a path to decent numbers.
I could, see what he does. See how training camp goes. Could he unseat Kirk? We'll see.
Yeah, Kirk has been, I would say, inconsistent.
Mm-hmm.
He has decent ceiling when he hits, because there were some games where he had great ceilings, but I don't know. Christian Kirk only had 79 targets last year, but he was good for 621 yards, which is pretty good, and 6 touchdowns. The thing about all of this equation, why I think Rondale Moore actually has more possibility to relevancy is because I don't believe in AJ Green.
Absolutely.
AJ Green had 104 targets and he only caught 47 receptions last year.
Pretty bad.
That's bad.
Yeah, I mean, a rookie quarterback in Cincinnati, subpar O line.
You're also changing offense.
Yeah.
You're changing quarterbacks.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things you're changing. You're kind of older. I mean, AJ Green's probably what, 30 something, 31?
I think it's more like 32.
32. It's no lie that he's had foot issues, or no secret that he's had foot issues, I guess you could say. So I have concerns about AJ Green as far as investing too much into him. Maybe in redraft you can take him if you can get a value on him, but I think everybody will be thinking about it in the same sort of light. Yeah. I don't think there's going to be a ton of people going out there to take AJ Green because of all this magic that's going to make him good again.
Yeah, no.
I think that's a foolish notion. Not impossible, but probably not the best idea.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Yeah, honey, I'm good.
I'm good. Yeah, Christian Kirk. I mean, in inconsistency, he had one game last year where he had double-digit targets. That was the last game of the season.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you take those at last games of the season kind of with a grain of salt. So, I don't know. I mean, I'm in on Nuke, and I'm probably not drafting any of these wide receivers.
Yeah, I don't see. Maybe I would take Rondale Moore late, yeah. Something like that, just because you don't really know what's going to unfold yet. I don't feel like their tight ends are. It's like Clint Eastwood talking to an empty chair.
I mean, Max Williams is there, and that's
it.
Of course, I think the Cardinals are still coming up in the Ertz trade talks, but I'm not interested.
I'm not. Yeah, no.
We don't need the.
I don't think that's what they do.
But let's go back to an exclamation point. We haven't talked about Kyler yet. So
yeah.
Let's go there.
Yeah, definitely.
So he's a top 5. I mean, whatever. I mean, I don't know what leagues aren't doing PPR anymore or whatever scoring settings, but I mean, he's a whatever scoring settings. I'm sure he finished in the top 5 last year.
Yeah, he finished as a quarterback 2 in most formats. He had 558 passing attempts, which is a lot. He didn't even clear 4,000 yards with that, though.
Which is crazy.
He had 3,971 yards. He was 29 yards short of 4,000 yards passing. However, he had 133 rushing attempts.
Yes.
Which that's up there with Cam Newton, right? Yeah. Wouldn't you say? Like, as far as rushing volume, which, do we ask the same sort of question about who's the running back 1 here? You know what I mean?
I mean,
it's you know what I'm getting at.
Yeah,
he takes so much of that rushing part of your team.
Mm-hmm.
But that's also what makes him such a good quarterback, points wise. Yeah. That's where your upside's coming in, because he had almost 900 yards rushing. Well, he had 820 yards pretty much.
Yeah.
So
11 touchdowns.
Yeah. That's a lot.
Yeah.
He had 37 total touchdowns, which isn't a lot in the grand scheme of things.
No, when you have Cousins who threw for 35 last year.
Right.
So you take it whichever way you want.
So the way that I'm looking at that is based off of everything that I just said, which is that he actually underwhelmed given his pass attempts, yardage wise. I actually see a case for Kyler Murray to actually throw more and be more efficient.
I definitely see that, and something that, of course, we don't talk a lot of O-line really
right
on this, but they did in a trade acquire Rodney Hudson
from
the Raiders, which he is in his 30s. So I mean, this is probably maybe the last team he plays for in his NFL career.
Right.
But I'm pretty sure he's like the top rated center in the NFL.
That matters.
So
that matters, man.
Yeah, I can cut that.
Okay.
Hey, what's up, boys?
Hey.
We are at the end of the Cardinals. We're going to talk about the running backs real quick.
Nice.
But we're right there. We're recording, but I can cut this stuff out. So, where you at?
I just got home and I'm in Keller's room.
How tight? What are you wearing?
What color are your eyes?
Still brown like shit. You guys are recording the pod right now?
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
They make an edit button, buddy.
Yeah, you're good.
That's all right. I'm gonna have to jump off in like 5 minutes for about 5 minutes.
Okay.
All right, yeah, we'll finish
Do you want us just to finish
the Cardinals.
the Cardinals and then tag team it when we, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Okay.
All right. All right. So yeah. So like I said, so Rodney Hudson coming in, bolstering this O line.
He's a veteran.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I mean, Kyler transitioned in the run game. He was actually out. I mean, he was out carried. I mean, as you should. I mean, traditionally.
Yeah.
Kenyon Drake now gone. He had 239 carries, which I never would have thought he would have had that many carries last year, in my opinion.
Right.
A skosh under 1,000 yards, 955, 10 touchdowns. Again, I never think about that.
It made him a actually viable starting running back last year, crazy as it sounds.
And then so James Conner's coming in. Does he? I mean, he started in his rookie year. Then he came in and with all the Le'Veon Bell stuff in Pittsburgh, and James Conner kind of took over, and he kind of ran with it. But then the past 2 seasons, he's just been so injuries and all that not fun stuff. Excuse me. So
or bomb.
They also had issues with their offensive line over the past couple of years.
Yeah.
You know, declining, all of these things.
So we still have, which I think as of right now, everybody thinks he's a starter. That's Chase Edmonds, playing a full 16 games last year. Again,
nothing spectacular that I saw.
Yeah, he didn't break 100 carries, only 97 for 448 yards, which still is, I mean, that's 4 and some change rush average. Only run 1 rushing TD. Then asset in the passing game, catching 67 for 402 and 4 TDs.
Mm-hmm.
So, so Chase, I feel like he's flirting with RB2 territory. I don't know what you think.
I can see him hitting running back two territory pretty easily. Going beyond that is where I have trouble seeing it, especially if they split touches. And which I have actually every reason to believe they will split touches because that's how teams do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't see Chase Edmonds going for 3-down workhorse material. And I don't see James Conner doing it either. And with an additional game and a season, I feel like there's going to be games like a lot of teams where one of them's going to do well and one of them's not.
Yeah.
You know, and it's going to probably be hard to figure out which one it is, unless one of them just plays really well out the gate. I personally don't see that out of either of them.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
but somebody's got to carry the ball.
Could definitely be a 1-2 punch. I mean, they have, who are the running backs here? We got Jonathan Ward, Benjamin. I mean, could they step in? I mean, could they still add like Gurley or AP or something to totally screw up everything that we've talked about tonight?
I can't see them bringing back AP, being that they had him before. You know what I mean? I don't see that playing back out. Todd Gurley. Would you rather have Todd Gurley or Le'Veon Bell?
I watched Le'Veon when he played for the Chiefs last year.
It was abysmal.
It was rough.
It was abysmal.
From a guy who was like, 4-ish years ago, he was the number 1 overall pick in fantasy draft.
Correct. And there was a lot of people that were hoping when he sat out the year that he did, that either he would come back and be the same Lev Bell or go somewhere else and be the same Lev Bell. And it just didn't come to be. So it's kind of, I don't think I'd rather have either of them. And I don't know that they should bring in either of them.
Yeah.
Unless they get dinged up. But I can't see anybody else on this roster challenging for carries besides those two.
Yeah. And I'm with you. I'm with you. So I have Chase at my wide receiver 22.
Running back?
Yeah. Sorry.
I mean, he can be your wide receiver 22, I guess.
He's wide receiver something.
Yeah, you're right. He's going to get some catches.
But, I like him. I think Could he possibly get overhyped as redraft season gets closer and closer?
Yeah.
Possibly, but I mean, I'm down for taking Chase Edmonds, but just
Temper your expectations.
exactly.
Yeah.
Couldn't have said that. Yeah. So I guess let's go back to Kyler real quick. I mean, you know where you have him in your rankings? Kind of. I mean, do you like him over Lamar? Do you like him over?
I would
Rodgers?
definitely take him over Lamar. Just because I think he's a better passer. And in most situations, that's probably what's going to net you the points. But he also again, so like I think he's more accurate than Lamar. And although there were a couple games last year where he was just letting picks fly,
Yeah.
Jameis Winston style.
Yeah.
But I think I'd rather have Murray. I have him in my rankings higher. I know I still haven't submitted them yet because they're pretty secretive. But I have him over Murray, and I would definitely have him over Rodgers in Dynasty.
Yeah.
In redraft, I think Rodgers is trying to show the world that he's, I think he wants to win a Super Bowl and leave Green Bay, honestly. I think that's like right up his alley. But I think I'd still take Kyler Murray over him because he has so much more rushing upside. He had 11 rushing touchdowns and almost 820 yards.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's a ton of upside. That would be an additional 80, 66, 140, 154 points based off of rushing touchdowns and yards.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, that's up to right now I have in my redraft, I have him as 5th. I got him above Dak, above Russell, Herbert, Deshaun Watson, Burrow. So yeah, no, definitely Kyler's a dude. I'm in.
I think he's. I actually think he's going to do better this year.
Could he finish? As quarterback 3? Absolutely.
Yeah, I could see it.
I mean, I hope nobody gets hurt, but could he finish as QB1? Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
the potential's there.
Before we jump into the Rams, let's introduce the Godfather, the father, the creator, the all-father of the Fluke Fest, ladies and gentlemen, found on Twitter at a fantasy hack, Mr. Shane Gardner.
Get off of that thing.
Yeah, dude. God, I'm about to be everybody's Godfather.
Oh, man. That's what I like to hear.
Dude, thank you.
Spread that love.
You going for that 3rd Dynasty championship? Oh, you got some white?
Bro, I am. Because you're never going to shut the fuck up that I'm not a real Dynasty champion until I win this one. So I got to win this fucking one this year.
All right. I get it.
Dude, what is up? We haven't seen you on the pod. How are you? Your child's a year older.
My child is a year older, both of them.
True.
Congratulations to both.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, it wasn't Kelly's birthday. It was Otis's birthday. But yeah, they're both getting older. But such as life. We all age, folks.
Yeah. Especially running backs. Am I right? All right.
The Rams.
Yeah.
I just slapped him in the nut.
The Rams. All right. So in the draft,
I just slipped him a ball. I just showed him my nuts. I didn't know it was coming.
I had a pretty good idea about how long it took you to get your balls out.
Yes. The Rams in the draft, round 2, Tutu Atwell, wide receiver out of Louisville. Round 4, Jacob Harris, wide receiver out of UCF. Round 7, Jake Funk, running back Maryland.
Slam dunk the Funk.
I think this is the only name I'm going to butcher tonight. Round 7, Ben Skowronek. Scrotenut. Wide receiver out of Notre Dame.
Yep.
Let's go ahead. There's 2 big topics on here. Let's go with the most recent one. Cam Akers, obviously the RB1 for this team. Torn Achilles, I think it was a week ago now. Out for the season. The heir apparent, I guess you would say, Darrell Henderson, 15 games last year, 138 carries, 624 yards, 5 touchdowns. Cam played 13 last year, 145 carries. So he's freeing up 145 carries. You also have Malcolm Brown that is gone.
Correct.
He had 101 carries. So we have 246 carries
Open,
Yes.
wide open.
Yes. So I don't think Henderson gets 300 carries.
No.
I mean, 200 easy, 250 maybe. I don't know. And then, I mean, there's some other guys on this team. Have you guys kind of decided where you have Henderson at in your rankings?
So I think that there's a little bit more of a question about can Darrell Henderson hold up with that type of workload. I don't know that he's definitely never seen that type of workload. I think he was drafted maybe a little. So I think they brought in Cam Akers because they were impatient with Darrell Henderson. You know what I mean? I don't think he really got a full fair shake at it. And so maybe this is his shot at it. I don't know. I kind of think Jake Funk might actually play a part in this. I really do. I don't know enough about Xavier Jones to really have a forced opinion on him yet, or a formed opinion on him. But I do think that Darrell Henderson should be a lock for at least 100 and let's say 80 carries. I think he should at least get that. So that to me puts him on a running back 2 plane.
Yeah.
Can he outperform that? Sure. You know, I also think too, with them bringing in Matt Stafford, I think that the back who's going to see the most time, there's a guy who can pass protect the best.
Makes sense.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you're going to protect your asset or what you traded for, you know?
Yeah.
And so I kind of feel like maybe it's up to the pass protection. So whoever has the best pass protection is maybe the guy they trust the most. I don't know who that is, so I can't really expand upon that. But
totally makes sense.
Oh, yeah. I like Henderson a lot this year. What's that?
No, get in there, babe.
I like Henderson a lot this year. I haven't exactly figured out where I'm comfortable taking him, mainly because I haven't had to pull the trigger. But like, I'm getting close to wanting to take him over. I think I want him over Swift. I'm serious. I mean, how could it not go all in his favor? Like, yeah, I agree with Morg. They're going to want the pass protection back, but Darrell Henderson at the beginning of last season was awesome. You know, I mean, before the thing is, he does have durability concerns, and they've even said something in the last couple of days to where like something like our load management or keeping him healthy is going to be our number one priority. And you know, that's going to be something, but I don't know. It's just hard for me to see a path that doesn't have him just balling out of control. I don't know. You guys tell me. Am I crazy? I mean,
No.
am I crazy to?
No. I mean, I flirt with that idea. I just think I'm a bit more reserved on it. You know what I mean? Like I can see it. I can see a path to it. I just think it's a hard path. That's all.
Who do you want? If you've got, okay, you just get to take one of these two. They're sitting in a bucket. You grab one, redraft. Okay, grab one of these guys in the bucket. Najee or Henderson.
I'm gonna go Najee.
I think.
Yeah.
I think there's more continuity with the system in Pittsburgh and the pieces in place before Najee. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like you're changing your quarterback to Matt Stafford. He's learning a different system.
Yeah. That ceiling though. That ceiling was.
I know.
Yeah.
Because scared football loses straight up. I guess I could see it, Shane, but I just think that Najee's definitely going to get like workhorse type of.
I agree, but the offense isn't going to be as good if you ask me. Josh, which one did you choose?
Say that again.
Who'd you choose?
I'm going to take Harris. I'm going to go with Harris. There, that's really tight. That's really.
And it's an excellent question, actually, because I wouldn't have even taken that angle. Had you thrown Swift at me, I would have gone Swift. But
I would say I would have gone.
You'd have gone Henderson?
I would have gone Henderson.
Mm-hmm.
How about half a PPR? Same thing. There's two guys sitting in the cup. Grab one. CD Lamb or Henderson.
Oh, now we're going. Oh, CD Lamb.
I'd take CD.
And redraft, you're taking that high? Who'd you say, more?
Man, that's a tough one. I think I would actually probably take Darrell Henderson, because more than likely how I would have set my draft strategy up is that I wouldn't be forced to take CD Lamb. But God damn, that's a tough question. Why'd you have to cross like genres like that? Golly, this thing was going along swell and then you showed up. I think I would probably rather have the potential upside of Henderson there, because I think there are a lot more wide receivers to choose from than there are running backs.
I agree with that. Man, that's indisputable this year. Hey, how's that? Is that a little bit better?
What about Xavier Jones? Do you think he has a?
I mean, I guess let's see how training camp goes.
Yeah.
See what kind of buzz we kind of get.
I mean, I know he's getting a little bit of buzz now.
He's the guy you pick up and you stash if you're in a dynasty league, without a doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of training camp buzz, guys, sleeper notifications are keeping my phone going.
Oh my god.
Yo, and it's a lot of bullshit too.
Yes, it is.
It's kind of. I mean, it's like Tua throws a 50-yard touchdown.
Yeah, I don't need that fucking.
Oh, half of this team was placed on the COVID-19 list today.
Yeah.
But none of them actually have it because they're going to get pulled back off tomorrow because it was a false negative or whatever. Like, that's been happening.
Yeah.
We live in a world where hello television. Okay, there we go.
There you are.
My connection's unstable. I'm sorry, folks.
You good. We kind of said his name. Shane hasn't jumped at it yet, guys. Matt Stafford is the new quarterback of the Los Angeles Rams. He goes into he took Goff. It was a trade. Goff is in Detroit now. Goff 370 completions on 552 attempts. This is kind of one of the numbers that Morgan and I were talking about before we started recording the pod. 552. That's the 9th most in NFL. I don't think you would have expected that out of Jared Goff.
Right.
A skosh under 4,000 yards passing, 20 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. Guys, that is the lowest amount of passing touchdowns and passing yards in Goff's past 3 seasons.
Correct. I think part of that was due to some offensive line woes and shuffling things around. Did Cooper Kupp play all 16 last year?
He played 15 out of 16.
15 out of 16. So that was pretty good on his part.
Yeah.
Robert. So I think that they've upgraded by bringing in Stafford. Stafford was more efficient than Goff was. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I think the hardest thing for them is, can they develop enough of a rapport with Stafford, learning the new offense and all of that, for the receivers around him to maintain their value, Mm-hmm. And I think that Matt Stafford can, and I think he'll have a better year than Goff. I would probably look at Matt Stafford and look at Goff's numbers in other seasons, because I think that Stafford is better at making reads.
Dude, he's got a much bigger arm. He's smarter. So that's the thing is,
he could potentially have a heck of a target in Van Jefferson because he can hit him. Jared Goff couldn't really hit Van Jefferson in stride on a deep route.
Well,
Jared Goff really excels with his intermediate routes. You know what I mean? So I really can't wait to see Matt Stafford in this. I think it's going to be a fun offense to watch, especially with all of the chaos that's going to be just injected right into it. Oh, I love that.
Action. Just.
Yeah. He's 900 years old, Shane.
Yeah, but there's Deshaun Jackson. Deshaun Jackson, and what they hope, Dijon. There you go. Let's just call him Dijon. And they're hoping, I think, that Tutu Atwell can pick up when Deshaun gets hurt.
Yeah.
Dude, this offense is going to be crazy. And the whole magical thing about Peyton was that, he stays in the Lions quarterback now.
Goff.
Goff, thank you. He stays in Goff's head and like the full 15 seconds he's allowed to. He's reading the defense for him. Stafford's not going to need that. Now, the one thing that Stafford is not going to be able to do so much is you just said it, Mark. He'll have to learn this great system, but
Right.
Peyton's going to have a lot to teach him. Not Peyton.
McVay.
McVay, thank you. McVay's going to have a lot to teach him, and I think, dude, I love Matt Stafford. I think he's top 10 QB easily this year if he stays healthy all 17.
Yeah, I don't know. And if you want to go off last year's kind of bias, so Stafford did get traded. Was it May? Was it April?
It was right before the draft,
Right
right?
before the draft. Hopefully he's had some more time. And you have to think last year there wasn't much practice because of like all the COVID and preseason and all that stuff.
Right.
So I think you have to kind of take a positive look at that.
Mm-hmm.
So let's roll with that, guys. Like I said, we already talked about these wide receivers. Let's kind of go there. So we said Kupp, 15 games played, 92 catches on 124 targets, right under 1,000 yards, 974 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Which is kind of low.
Agreed.
Especially since in years past, a lot of his fantasy value is based off of his touchdowns.
Absolutely. You have Robert Woods playing a full 16 games last season, catching 90 on 129 targets, 936 yards, 6 touchdowns. Guys, you got Van Jefferson, as we mentioned. He was a player in there to some extent. You have Josh Reynolds, who's now gone to Tennessee. He played a full season last year. He's freeing up 81 targets.
Mm-hmm.
This Kupp and Woods split. It's a difference of 5 targets.
Yeah, and they were both pretty efficient on those targets.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the other thing I'm looking at here is that so they were just under 1,000 yards. One was 26 yards shy. The other was 64 yards shy. I can see both of these receivers being 1,000-yard receivers this year. Easy 1,000-yarders. So, and maybe even like a potential for if Jackson can stay healthy. Look, if Jackson's healthy, he can still take the top off of a defense.
Absolutely.
If he's healthy. So, and I think honestly that Van Jefferson can do it too. I saw a lot out of Van Jefferson at the end of the season last year that gives me a lot of hope for him moving forward. I liked him to begin with, except for fucking Gary drafted him. So that kind of hurt things a little bit. But I actually think that Van Jefferson can take that spot from Deshaun Jackson. I think that Van Jefferson can absolutely blow past people. So
there was a time in Stafford's early career. There was a time. I had to do a podcast about Stafford's career because I still love him. But there was a time early in his career where he was a 5,000-yard passer. Lions weren't a good team around that. But especially with the loss of Cam Akers, one way that I haven't heard anybody spin this yet is maybe Cam Akers wasn't going to get as much work as he was getting last year anyway, with a better quarterback and really good passing options. And Darrell Henderson is going to need somebody to help him shoulder the workload, but what he doesn't need is another stud because Matt Stafford in this offense, they can do it. They can do it. They've got a tight end. They've got a couple wide receivers. They've got a great play caller, and there's nothing to say that Matt Stafford couldn't throw for 5,000 yards again. It's unlikely, but it could happen.
It's not unthinkable, though.
That's right. And if he's throwing for 5, let's just say Stafford throws for 5,000 because of 17 games. Let's say it's 4,800. Okay. In my opinion, I think Woods could be a 1,300 yard guy. Kupp could be an 1,100 yard guy, and there's still plenty more to go around. Deshaun Jackson could get 400 yards in 2 games,
Yeah.
Especially if he plays Washington.
Or if he's returning punts against the Giants.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I've been way too excited about Stafford, but I mean, you guys know that.
I mean, I love the situation for him. I think he went to a great spot.
Probably let him go.
I know.
We're doing him a favor.
I know.
We talked. I heard you guys say tight end. No, but let's talk about Higbee. He kind of had a down year last year. And we already said Gerald Everett is now gone. He's gone to Seattle. We'll get there in a little while. Higbee missed one game last year. He caught 44 of 60, a little over 500 yards, 5 touchdowns. But what you need to know when these 5 touchdowns, 3 of those came against Philly in week 2. Speaking of, yeah. So I don't know. I like Higbee as a bounce back kind of candidate this year, with him being the kind of the only pass catching tight end there.
I agree.
And then they have, I mean, Shane, you can tell me. I feel like Stafford was always pretty good at getting the tight ends involved. Like there was, Ebron was there for a while, and
Ebron early in his career, he just had bad hands. Brandon Pettigrew was there for a little while.
Ooh, that's a good name.
He didn't do much. I feel like I'm tired reminiscing about the Bills right now. I mean, what is the Smokers Lounge? What's it called?
Yes, the Oasis.
The Smokers Oasis.
And then, then there was that year with Logan Thomas. When I will say this, man, I would see Logan Thomas on the field, and I was like, this guy's going to do great things. This guy's going to sound like Trump. But it's like Jesse James would get more opportunities than him, and you could just see it. You're like, dude, this guy's so much fucking better. Why is Jesse James getting the ball? But
his name was Jesse James.
People do weird things.
So true. I don't think I've ever heard a better explanation for football in my life.
Let's put Shane's Stafford love to the test.
Oh, come on, baby.
Shane, in redraft, are you drafting Stafford or Joe Burrow?
Stafford, without a doubt.
Stafford or
Without
Herbert? Herbert.
Stafford, without a doubt. Okay, hang on.
Got him.
Herbert.
All right, Stafford or Baker?
Stafford.
Stafford or Tannehill?
Ooh.
Okay, so I know that Tannehill's performed better, and I know that Tannehill's the right answer, but I'm going Stafford. And I would like to wait around and go Stafford. I don't know what the ADP is, but I'd rather, if I could wait and go Stafford.
That's fine. That's fine. Stafford or you got one?
Stafford or Rodgers?
Oh,
Rodgers.
Yeah. All right, so you got to. He's in your top 10.
Yeah, I think that's fair for especially coming from Shane. I mean, I don't mean that in a bad way, Shane. I just mean like
Stafford or Russell Wilson.
Russ.
Okay.
That is the right answer.
Your boy.
He's dangerous.
Dangerous. All right. Anything else you guys want to talk about on the Rams?
I gotta say, I'd have a really hard time taking Herbert over him. Although I know this is the right thing.
Shane, is it possible for what's the possibility in your mind of Stafford having 2 wide receiver ones come off of this team? Can he have 1 wide receiver 1 off of numbers, right?
Megatron.
Can he have 2?
Yes, it's possible.
He did it with Marvin Jones and
Megatron.
Was it Megatron?
It had to be.
No, he did it with Marvin Jones and Golden Tate.
Golden Tate, yeah.
So that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, it was a different NFL then too.
Nope. This is a better NFL.
Yeah.
More games.
Because back then, that was like 3 years ago.
Well, you know what they had in common. Not a crazy good running back RB1.
Yeah.
And Henderson, I'm saying you should get him in fantasy, but Henderson's not a guy who's going to keep Stafford's arm from throwing.
Right.
Right.
I agree.
And Cam Akers just might have been. Cam Akers just might have been a guy where they would have to say, all right, look, let's get our guy some work.
Right. I can see that.
I got you. Guys, we talked about we talked about Seattle a little bit. Let's go ahead and jump to the Seattle Seahawks.
Oh, that true chomping son of a bitch, Pete Carroll.
Here we go. Let's in the draft. Only one really fantasy relevant name. Wide receiver in round 2 out of Western Michigan, Dwayne Eskridge. He had some kind of, I guess, Twitter hype. There's some guys that are big on him.
Yep. I will say, I like the fact that he played both defense and offense in college. I think that's it can only help your understanding of how to play the game. Playing both sides of the ball. That said, I think he's also super scrappy and tough. I don't know that he has a path to huge relevancy this year, but maybe down the line.
I'm with you. If you're going to jump to wide receivers, that's fine because obviously I don't know, some people's dynasty wide receiver 1 is on this team. DK.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Tyler Lockett because he was a wide receiver 1 too.
A couple times.
And then, but what I'm getting back to is last year this team produced 2 wide receiver 1s, and they were wide receiver 7 and wide receiver 8. DK Metcalf was 7th and Lockett was 8th. And now this is PPR scoring, but that's 2 top 12 wide receivers on a team that wants to be run first.
That is a lay your dick on the table stat right there, because I didn't know that shit.
You're welcome. That's for pulling your balls out.
That was kind of an invitation to put your dick on the table.
Wait until I come to your house, buddy.
You guys, can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
Josh, you told me Dave was working on his 3rd season, or it's coming out soon.
Dave, the FX show, it's on season 2. It's like on now.
Oh yeah, I thought season 3 was about to come out.
No, season 2.
All right, so I was watching some of season 2 last night. I guess I skipped way ahead, but I love it. But there's this one episode. I fucking love that show. He and his buddy just get so gay together. It's so gay. It's like, I like getting gay with my friends. No, these motherfuckers get gay with each other. He's like got his nuts on him in the shower and everything like that. And they're like, no, we're not gay. We're just being gay. That just made me laugh. Okay, that's all I had for an aside.
That tied in perfectly with what we were talking about.
Yeah. All right, squirrel. DK, let's go from dynasty standpoint. DK is still only 23 years old. Turned 24 in December.
Yeah.
Crazy to think that shit.
Yeah, man. He's still got 3 years before he hits apex age.
Yes. Holy shit. And again, Lockett, like you said, he went right over 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns. David Moore is gone. He frees up 47 targets, sneakily 6 touchdowns from him.
Yeah.
So, maybe could Eskridge step into there? Who knows? We'll see.
I think it's worth noting that the majority of the good times for both Lockett and Metcalf came before week 11. I think Wilson's numbers kind of waned a little bit at the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that happens if they're not going through a carousel of running backs this year. If they can stay healthy at running back, there's potential, I think, for both of these guys to do that again. Because Metcalf did it off of efficiency, and they almost had the same amount of targets. One had 129, one had 132. DK Metcalf did it off of yardage efficiency, making the most of his catches.
Yep.
Lockett did it actually off of receptions, off of his ability to. He had 100 receptions, so he had 17 more receptions, but he had about almost 200. It's 249. 249 yards less than DK Metcalf, but they finished at 7 and 8. Mm-hmm. So I don't see any reason why they both can't do that again. Yeah. Now, that said, I don't know if Dwayne Eskridge is actually going to start because he did have some sort of injury before the season. I know that he was dinged up going into camp. So that's something worth watching.
Yeah.
But obviously your top 2 targets on that are going to be Metcalf and Lockett.
Yes. Yes.
So.
Absolutely.
Lord, what do you think?
About-
Here's what I think. I think that they're unlikely to both be in the top 10 because very few teams can have 2 top 10 receivers. I think
Actually, it's happened 29 times since the year 2000 per Ryan McDowell.
really?
Yep.
Man. So all right, well that is pretty rare. So a little more than one a year. We're in 21. So I mean it's rare. You know?
It is, but it's not impossible by
It's
any
not
means.
possible. But here's what I think. You said you don't see any reason why it can't happen again,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't see any blatant reason that it can't happen again. However, I do think from here on out, one will dominate.
Well,
And
look at this. All right, there's 3 games where Lockett made his bread and butter last year.
He had a couple massive games
So he played.
that saved him.
They played Dallas in week 3. He caught 9 for 100 yards and 3 touchdowns. Don't forget the Arizona. I think this was a Sunday night game. 15 catches for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. And then the last game of the season, he caught 12 for 90 and 2 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Besides those 3 games, he never went over 10 targets.
Mm-hmm.
He had one game he went 9 for 9. Yeah, minus those 3 games, his numbers were. I mean, look at these. I mean, none of the other games he went over 100 yards.
Mm-hmm.
They're damn near pedestrian in my opinion. So,
but I would make the same argument about Julio Jones.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, I mean, Julio Jones would give you a 3-point game and a 60-point, or not a 60, a 40-point game.
Yeah.
Think of this: the running back 1 per PPR last year. Who do you think it would be? Just off the top of your head, who should have been the running back? Who was the most dominant running back you saw last year?
So we're not talking about injuries.
Right.
So probably Dalvin.
Nope.
Derrick Henry.
Nope.
Kamara.
Alvin Kamara. He had a 6-touchdown game last week of the season.
Yeah, Christmas.
That's what put him at the top. Otherwise, he's not the top.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, like, I still believe that Tyler Lockett can be hyper efficient. And I think that he can be. I think that Metcalf is a top 10 wide receiver, hands down. I think that Lockett is definitely a top 15, but he can sneak into that top 10 still.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
So who are you taking? Redraft.
I love this.
I'm having a really hard time with names today. But
DK Metcalf or AJ Brown?
Well, no. Okay, I'll answer that one for you. I like AJ Brown. But no. This question's for you. Tyler Lockett or your boy on the Bengals?
T. Higgins?
Huh?
You asking me?
Yeah.
Talking to
Are
him?
you talking to me?
Yeah.
I'm talking to you.
Yeah, he's not your friend. T. Higgins. Yeah, that's it. Thanks. Tyler Lockett or T. Higgins?
I'm taking Tyler Lockett.
How about you, Josh?
I'm going upside and taking T.
I'm going T. Higgins.
I'm kind of on the train this year.
I'm fine by that. I like Lockett. Who would you take, Shane? T or Lockett? T?
T. Yeah.
Okay. Nothing wrong with that.
Lockett or Amari Cooper?
I'm going to take Lockett. Oh, wow.
That's another similar types thing where you've got blow-up weeks.
Yeah, and the thing is that Lockett doesn't often. How many games has Lockett missed
I don't know.
through the years? I feel like Amari Cooper is definitely more injury prone than Lockett.
He's injured right now.
I'm taking Lockett over Cooper, and it's very tight. Lockett hasn't missed a game since 2016.
Yep, I'm taking Lockett.
And that was one game. He's missed one game in the past 6 seasons. That's pretty fucking solid, dude.
Yeah. That's why I think it's doable.
Yeah. Because
the durability is there, the consistency is there. I know he had up and downs last year, but I think Tyler Lockett can still do it. And I still think that it wouldn't surprise me if DK Metcalf actually pushed him to the top 5 this year. I think he's that good. DK? I really do. Yeah. DK is amazing. it's interesting that both of them pulled 10 touchdowns as well. You know?
Yeah. No, I'm with you. All right, that was wide receiver talk. Let's switch back. Let's go to Russell. He played all 16 games, 384 completions on 558 attempts, 4,200 yards, 40 touchdowns, highest of his career, 13 interceptions, highest of his career as well. Again, I kind of feel like we're talking Kyler over again.
There's so many parallels between all these guys.
I mean, a little less carries. He had 83.
Sure.
So 50 less carries?
Yeah.
Right? 513 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, that's still something you have to account for with Russell. That puts him. Russell was had the second most rushing attempts on Seattle last year. So.
And how many passing touchdowns did he have?
40.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty damn good for a team that wants to run first. Who doesn't want to run first, right? Right? Look, if you ever listen to any coach, what do they always say? We need to establish the run. I'd like to run the ball more. My vision is to get all these guys fired up out there. You know what I mean? And we got a great group of guys. They could all, we got 3 running back ones on this team. They could all run the ball.
It's the best problem anybody could have.
The best problem anybody could have. And the reality is it never works out that way.
That's right.
Yeah. It's almost like coaches have like cliches that they have to like hit the quota. Like it's like when we watch the draft and like they're gonna say intangibles.
They might as well say, I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Yeah.
Well, how about this? This is important. You said Russ Wilson had the second most rushing touchdowns last year. I don't know if you're ready to switch to this, but anyway, a penny for your thoughts. Who's going to be the RB2 on this team this year?
I'll say it.
Go ahead.
Rashad Penny.
Yeah.
But until he hurts himself in a practice and then he doesn't get an opportunity. He's going to be running back 2 theoretically, but it's never going to be.
He is going to be the RB2. This is the year.
Maybe. It is a contract year for him, so it does benefit him to play and do well. He ended up as the running back 142, I think, last year. Chris Carson was a running back 19.
Page turn.
Hold, wait for it. Chris Carson was the running back 19 last year. He had 141 attempts, and he still made it into the top 20 with less than 150 attempts. He made it into the top 20, which I think is good.
He's awesome.
We all know that when Chris Carson plays, he is the guy.
I can't believe. So he missed 4 games last year. 141 attempts just seems really low for him.
Well, here's the thing: you have to remember he was getting the high value touches. Carlos Hyde got a lot of work last year.
Yeah, he did.
You're watching Seahawks games. Carlos Hyde had a lot of touches, and that's why I think it's important to know Carlos Hyde is gone now. Alex Collins is still there. I think Travis Homer's still there. Who?
DJ Dallas.
DJ Dallas. That's the other Florida. Yeah. Or Miami guy they still have there. So getting the RB2 in Seattle to stash on a dynasty team or maybe to have on a redraft roster for if and not when, but if something happens to Chris Carson or just when they like to spell him, I think is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm with you. And Carson's also two things on Carson. No 100-yard rushing games last year.
Mm-hmm.
0 100-yard rushing games?
Zero.
Wow.
And then, but also something to be accounted for. His passing efficiency. He got 46 targets, which is kind of, I would say, par for like a running back.
It's middle.
Yeah, he caught 37, which you can't be mad about, and he had four receiving TDs.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something to be factored in, which I think is kind of, again, this could go up with. Hyde gone. Hyde is freeing up 81 rushing attempts.
Mm-hmm.
So
would you say that Travis Homer holds probably more appeal for special teams or for like a change of pace, third down back type?
I think he stunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted him to be good. I think he's special teamer, like working to make the roster.
Yeah. I guess that's kind of what I'm asking. Like, how do you see him?
DJ Dallas is the change of pace guy. I think.
Okay.
And I think if they had DJ Dallas, if Rashad Penny's healthy, I think Homer's a cut.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Because I think right now they still have Alex Collins too.
Yeah, they do. Not the Irishman.
So yeah, I don't know. Is Carson undervalued to you guys? I mean, is he? I mean, I think he's. I don't think he's wide. I don't think he's running back one material. Like he's not a top 12 to me.
He is. I agree. I think that he is. If he's healthy all season, he could be an RB1.
You think so? Okay.
Yeah, I think if he's healthy all season, he commands it because he is a good running back. It's not every day that you get a 6th-round running back that plays like he's played.
No, hell no.
You know,
hell no.
And that's the whole reason they drafted Penny in the first place. He was coming off of a broken leg, a broken ankle, first year, something like that.
He's had it rough.
But then he was able to rehab and work through that and say, you know what, hold my beer, Rashad Penny. I'm going to take this job back, and you're going to watch me for 4 years.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to be said for that, and there is zero question about his grit and his football IQ. He's a smart dude, and he plays well. So I think that Chris Carson, if he plays an entire season healthy and the offensive line is sharp, he could easily be a running back one.
Let's play a game. We've been playing games tonight.
Let's do it.
Are you Chris Carson, Kareem Hunt?
Carson.
Half PPR redraft, right?
Yes.
Chris Carson, easily.
Let's go Chris Carson or Miles Sanders.
There's uncertainty there, but I'm going to say Miles Sanders.
I would also say Miles Sanders.
Chris Carson, Austin Eckler.
Carson.
Eckler.
I don't like Eckler.
Agree to disagree.
Chris Carson.
Wait, what are you going the last one? You can't hold us to the fire.
I like Eckler's PPR upside.
Yeah, that's why I went with Eckler.
Like I said, Chris Carson.
Yeah, he's capable.
Yeah,
he's capable. I just think that Eckler's going to get more.
I think he's a 60 catch guy.
Yeah,
Eckler's upside's crazy. New coaching staff there. Can't be forgotten.
Carson or Josh Jacobs?
Carson.
I
think Drake cuts into Jacobs, actually, into his receiving value.
One more.
Okay.
Chris Carson. Mixon.
Oh, why'd you go with that one? That one's no fun.
All right, well, you do it. Your
Chris
turn.
Chris Carson or David Montgomery? In a vacuum, healthy, all 16 games.
In a bubble. I'm going to go Chris Carson just because of game script. Because I think this, yeah.
If I could add one condition to it, Carson, if Tariq Cohen's healthy.
Okay. I'm with that.
If Tariq Cohen is healthy at the beginning of the season, I'd go Carson.
Okay. I'm a Carson on that one as well. And I would take Carson over Mixon because I've been burned by Mixon twice. I would take Mixon
in a heartbeat over Carson.
Look, it's just for like.
I'm not hating.
What is it? What is it you say, Shane? It's.
Dude, please do not pull out a philosophy of mine.
No. This is actually very applicable. It's buyer's remorse. Like when you have somebody and they burn you, and even though it may not be warranted, you just can't get over it.
Oh yes.
You know what I mean? Oh, yeah. I've been irrational about players for years. It's taken me forever to come around on. You know what I mean? Yeah, because they somehow I associate them with being synonymous with me not winning.
No, I mean,
and in reality, it's me who didn't win, not them.
I have a list of them.
Yeah,
Mixon did it to me last year, but hey, I still got him in SFB. So, cheers to you, cheers to me.
I'm not gonna lie, DJ Chark's making his way on my list. But go on, we're not talking about that division.
All right, let's talk. All right, last thing on Seattle. Let's talk about the new tight end one, Gerald Everett, guys.
Ooh, your boy,
Greg Olsen. His stint in Seattle is over. He retired.
Thank God.
Will Dissly is still there. Hollister is now in Buffalo. Disley and Hollister combined last year for 460 yards and 5 touchdowns. So, which is, I mean, that's Austin Hooper numbers right there, just by himself.
Disley had value like 3 years ago. He was pretty damn good before he broke his
Leg.
everything.
Yeah.
Didn't he break his leg and tear
Yeah.
his PC? It was a PCL tear, ACL, MCL tear.
Yeah,
in
with
that-
that
in addition?
Shaheen. I thought he would just have to break. Anyways,
Anyways,
yeah.
You gotta talk about
I'm pretty sure that Disley had a PCL tear,
All right.
and those are really hard to come back from. And you could tell last year he was not the same player. He was just not the same player out there on the field. And I don't know that he's going to ever bounce back from, have that ability that he had before. I really love the signing of Everett. And actually, if there is one thing that can truly cut into Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf being both wide receiver ones, it's probably Gerald Everett. I think he can actually take some targets away from one of them. And so that's really where I would be worried more about them not being able to make that ground into the wide receiver one territory,
No, I'm the ceiling is there.
Especially being a big end zone target. Not that DK Metcalf has a fuck. He's a specimen and a half, man. I'd give both of my nuts to look like that. But anyways, I think that there's volume there for him. For sure, for Everett.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think there's enough volume there for both of them, for Disley and him. I think if they get a good tight end, they're going to roll with that tight end. They're going to play the hot hand.
I hope. Yeah. I hope stick with one. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm excited about Everett finally getting legit opportunity to be the guy. Like it's there for him. All he's got to do is take it. So we'll see how that goes. I have high hopes for him. Where would you rank Gerald Everett right now in your where would you put him? Is in a tier or?
I have him. I redid my rankings.
Mm-hmm.
Where do I have him at? I have him at again. You guys. I mean, my friends here know that I've been high on him. I have him at 16,
which would be 8 ahead of where he finished, right? Last year. Finishes the 24 last year.
Yeah.
So
So I have him.
Turn the page.
Ingram. I have Evan Ingram 12, Irv 13, Fant 14, Higbee 15, Everett 16, Hooper 17.
Would you rather have Gerald Everett or Cole Kmet?
Everett.
Would you rather have Gerald Everett or Irv Smith?
Shane, well, do you want to go? Shane, do you want to do?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I mean, I'm a hater on Irv Smith, but I'd go Irv Smith.
Okay.
I have Irv at 13, so I got him higher than Everett.
Would you rather have Everett or Gesicki? I already know the answer to this, but I'm just feeling you guys out.
Gesicki.
Nope. I'd rather have Everett.
You don't like him.
I know. I can't explain why. It's terrible. Don't listen to me on that one. I'm sorry. That's my personal gripes coming out. I don't even know what that's about.
Question, but it's just like, nope. Hey, doesn't it oddly feel like Gerald Everett's always been a Seahawk?
Like he was there the whole time?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because he didn't really do much with the Rams.
Dude, I mean, of course, me being a Chiefs fan. Do you guys remember the Chiefs and Rams game, the Monday Night Football game? That was like 50-60.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
He went ape shit that game. He had like 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And one was like a 40-yarder.
See, I think the thing that makes me love Everett so much is I ran him in a bunch of small slate tournaments during the playoffs a couple years back. And man, he was gold through that stretch. And he was so cheap. And, and it worked out so well that I can't help but think it might work again. See, this is how I make mistakes. But anyways.
Time and time again.
But you find players that you like little things about, and you remember these things. You know what I mean? You remember when it works out for you, and when it burns you, it haunts you sometimes. Conversely, when it works out, you'll show favor to these guys, even if they haven't really given it in return. And Everett's one of those guys for me. Not that I need to explain my love for him. But
no, it's fine. It's fine.
I'm trying to back you up.
No, I appreciate it. I'm not nemesis.
You are not my nemesis.
I'm not the nemesis.
There's only one of them.
There can only be one. Anything else on Seattle before we?
Well, I have a question. It's not about Seattle.
Okay, well, let's go for it. Let's hear it.
Morgan, I have 2 questions for you about the vaping.
Okay.
You're a very, first of all, Morgan, you're an extremely polite person.
Oh, thank you. I try.
So I want to know, what is the vaping etiquette? Do you say like, hey, can I vape in your house?
I did ask Josh last time I did it, and he said it was okay.
I don't mean to make it offensive. I mean, do you like, is that a thing that people do if they vape? Or do most
No, I think that's a Morgan thing, strictly.
I figured it was. It's probably
Yeah.
common vape.
Like, I wouldn't vape. So I'm vaping because I'm quitting smoking, and this is my bridge, right?
Yeah.
And I'm 36 and I've been smoking for 18 years. So I've been smoking for half my life, and I've been doing some soul searching recently, and I've just had a lot of positive thoughts in my mind about overcoming it. But I know that I also need help in doing so because I've failed a lot of times in the past doing it, right? And so I don't even smoke during the day. It's usually when I get off and when I'm driving and when I'm doing bullshit.
Yeah.
So I wanted to cut that out of my life. So I wouldn't even smoke like on a job site anyways, but I certainly wouldn't go into somebody else's house and just hit the vape, even though it doesn't smell and it doesn't do anything. I would still ask first, like, do you mind if I do this? But that's how I am, which I really, it means a lot that you call me polite, actually. Because, I try really fucking hard to like not put people out.
You're not an asshole.
So
podcast listeners know.
Well,
not an asshole.
I can be a dick. God knows. Shane knows I can be a jerk.
I love it. If you, the one time I've seen me an asshole is if you feel like somebody's being ganged up on, you'll jump on their side and the fucking heat of it, and I'll be like, God damn, Morgan, I was just kidding, my bad.
I don't like people getting ganged up on.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Hey, the last name of this podcast is Gentleman. So
that's true.
What we do.
That's true.
What we do, guys. Let's last team to talk about tonight. I mean, this division, guys. Like we said, I mean, this is
a banger division,
a powder keg, if you will.
I'm excited to watch this division unfold.
Fuck yeah! Everything you said, the cards. Anyway.
Yeah.
The Cardinals or the cards? Hey,
I see what you did there.
I don't. What I missed? What did I miss?
I said everything's in the cards. I said the Cardinals or the cards.
All right, let's move on.
Dad joke.
It was a play on words.
Yes, I can see what the cards hold.
Yes, that too.
Sorry.
49ers, first round. We already know this. The number 3 pick, quarterback Trey Lance, North Dakota State. Round 3 from the Ohio State, running back Trey Sermon. Preach.
Love him.
And then in the 6th round from Louisiana Lafayette, running back Elijah Mitchell. Of course, again, these are all the fantasy relevant picks. Guys, let's I mean, there's a lot to dive into here. I mean, I guess let's start with the quarterback competition. So we had Garoppolo, who right now is on paper, whatever you want to call it, the week 1 starter. He played 6 games last year. Nick Mullins, 10 games last year. CJ Beathard, I was going to say beat hard. Played 6 games last year. Combined, these 3 combined, 4,300 yards, 25 touchdowns, 17 interceptions. Like nothing. I mean, 4,300 yards is good. I mean, again, that's more than what Kyler threw last year, right?
Yeah.
More than what Russell threw last year. Again, 3 dudes combined.
Right.
I guess it's there if you get one guy if one guy can man the ship and do that, 4,300 yards, that's pretty fucking good. 25 touchdowns, 17 interceptions, not so much. I don't know how much you guys have seen, read, heard. I mean, I mean, I think Trey Lance obviously in Dynasty has top 10 QB
Potential.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's ranked
Yeah.
in Dynasty.
In rookie rankings.
Yeah, especially if you have Superflex, he's up there.
Yeah.
As far as redraft goes, I mean, what do you guys? Is this a wait and see approach for now until the training camp pans out? I mean,
Well, I'm gonna throw something really lame out here. I'm gonna go ahead and preface with that. I'm sure you guys, being the manly men that you are, have heard of the phrase "something borrowed, something new."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something that brides talk about, right?
Yeah.
So, like, something borrowed, something new is like taking your mom's dress and turning it into something new, right?
Right. Something blue.
Or yeah, whatever. So for me, this scenario is something borrowed, something new. Jimmy Garoppolo is something borrowed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Trey Lance is something new. Trey Lance is going to take this job before the season's over because Jimmy Garoppolo is not going to stay healthy all season, and Trey Lance is better. It's that simple.
So you're saying, what if Jimmy G stays healthy?
He won't, and I'm not trying to wish him bad health by any means. I just don't think he will.
Yeah.
He's a game manager. That's the thing. Do you want a guy who's going to, strictly from a fantasy football perspective, I wouldn't take Jimmy Garoppolo I wouldn't take him in the top 20
QBs?
Yeah.
Probably not.
I wouldn't touch him in the top 20. So if you're going to wait that long, why not take the upside of Trey Lance, where you could probably get him to actually be your guy at the end of the season when you would need him?
Yeah.
I guess that's just my strategy about how I'm looking at it. But I think there's uncertainty there. I don't think they're sold that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be all great when he comes back. You wouldn't have picked Trey Lance with the third pick.
Absolutely. No, I'm 100% in with you. I mean, even let's go back to the year. I mean, this team went to the Super Bowl 2 years ago.
They did.
And I mean, that year he went over. He just missed 4,000 passing yards, 3,978. And again, he went 27 for 27 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, which, again, these three quarterbacks last year combined for 25 and 17.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, yeah, there's a plus minus 2, 3 swing right there.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, as far as fantasy goes, I mean, this guy's not that, he's not nothing to be desired, I guess you could say.
Yeah, especially in a one quarterback league. In a super flex league, I don't think that I would want to waste a pick on somebody who may not be the quarterback for more than a year. Because if you drafted Trey Lance, you got to believe that when Jimmy Garoppolo's contract is up, that they're going to evaluate that. And so you want to have longevity in a super flex league or a 2-quarterback league. So you're probably going to want to be thinking ahead or taking people who are relevant now that are going to be productive fantasy assets now.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, I would avoid Garoppolo altogether in a super flex setting. And maybe in a redraft, if I'm feeling feisty and like pulling some like go get your guy shit, maybe I take Garoppolo at the back end of things, but I still doubt it.
Yeah. Okay. I have questions.
Yeah.
Kyle Shanahan. A Kyle Shanahan thing is a good running game. True or false?
True.
Okay. Is it true also that it's a Kyle Shanahan thing to have a quarterback who's not going to be the backbone of the team? There's teams where everything's going to go through the quarterback. That's not the 49ers right now, without a doubt. This is not that type of team. I remember there was one years ago where Pierre Garçon was on the Redskins. They were the Redskins then. I can say that.
You sure can.
It's
history.
It is. That's right. Mm-hmm. He led the league in targets, 63 or something like that. Kyle Shanahan was the coordinator. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Do you remember who the quarterback was?
Well, it was either RG3 or it would have been RG
Cousins.
or Cousins. Nah, Cousins didn't really get the gig to start until Gruden.
Until RG left. Oh, yeah.
So it might have been so Jake. Okay, so Shanahan was the coordinator. Jay Gruden was the coach.
No, Gruden came in after all the Shanahans departed unceremoniously.
Okay. So what I'm wondering is,
God, I forgot how horrible that was.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
so
man.
here's
It's all
what
good, man.
what's the upside of Lance when he does start? Jimmy G's going to start the season, I believe. I believe that Jimmy G won't finish the season even without injury
Well,
happening.
all right. Well, I'll return a question with a question.
I can't see a better way to do it.
All right. So, which group moves the needle for you more? A receiving core with the tight end on top with the arguably he's a top 3 tight end Kittle, obviously. I think he's got a cherry on top. Ayuk and Debo. What of these 3 guys move the needle more than Mostert, Trey Sermon, and Jeffrey Wilson?
Yes,
Who's moving? Like, who's getting you more excited? Which group is getting you more excited?
the receivers.
Oh, the tight end and receivers, without a doubt.
Especially, I still feel like a lot of this team, their success is predicated on the health and the ability of Debo Samuel.
Absolutely.
I think that they have they engineer a lot of plays for him where they run him all over the formation. When he's healthy, that dude gets a lot of carries. You know what I mean? He gets used all over.
Yeah. Gadget.
Yeah, but I think you pair that with Brandon Ayuk. Brandon Ayuk is going to be a really good receiver, I think, especially if they can nail down this thing. And I agree. I think Jimmy Garoppolo starts this season, and that's what I was getting at. I think he starts this season. I think Trey Lance finishes the season.
What's the upside, though? I guess is what I'm wondering is if Lance is a magical. Let's just say if Lance is
if he does a Russell Wilson and wins out training camp and starts week 1?
No, if he does better. If he's a Mahomes. If Lance is a Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
How are the 49ers going to use him?
Well, why not the exact same way?
Is that in Shanahan's DNA?
The Shanahan's DNA is to run an outside zone scheme, and that's why Tevin Coleman didn't work, because he's not an outside zone runner. So most of everything that they're trying to do is to move the pocket and to use misdirection and get the ball to the outsides, get it in space. That's what he likes to do. So from my mind, I look at it as Trey Lance is a more mobile quarterback. So when you have that, now you can run read option as well. I don't think that you can run read option with Garoppolo. And I think it just diversifies what you're able to do. You know what I mean? And so really just the versatility of what I think that Lance can do compared to what I think Garoppolo can do. I think Garoppolo is a fine pocket passer, but it may not always work that way, and we're talking about a division where, like you said earlier, it's like a powder keg division. What happens if you start the season and you lose your first 6 games by less than a touchdown and you start off 0-6? You riding it with Jimmy Garoppolo the rest of the way?
No way.
You testing, you go kick the wheels, you go, what are you doing?
Yeah, the season's lost.
You go get in that Ferrari, Trey Lance, you go drop the hammer in that bitch and roast it.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Yeah.
So because there is a possibility that somebody in this division catches the shit end of it and has a horrible record.
Yeah.
Look at the 49ers. The 49ers last year they went to the Super Bowl and then they won 6 games. A lot of injuries, but that's what happened.
We really haven't talked too much about Kittle. And it's funny too, because when I was trying to write my notes for San Francisco, it was very hard because I feel like Jimmy Garoppolo has been injury riddled. I feel like Debo Samuel has had injuries. I feel like George Kittle has had injuries.
We've done teams like this.
There's a lot about it.
Yeah, that you can't take.
Correct.
Yeah.
Like Jerick McKinnon, if Jerick McKinnon was healthy, wouldn't he have been amazing in that offense, right? Wasn't that the theory initially when you first went after him? I'm talking to you specifically.
Oh, I
Shane.
went after him. I went after him hard, real hard.
Because the idea there was that the upside was so good there, right? Well, I think you can apply that same logic to the quarterback. That if this team is healthy and you've got a younger, healthier quarterback that can move, I think it benefits this team tremendously. And that's why I think Trey Lance is going to get there sooner than later. So, on that note, I don't think I want to draft either of them this year because it may not be this year is the thing.
Yeah.
Who would you rather have redraft Superflex League? Okay.
Okay.
As your QB2.
Okay.
Jimmy G or Mac Jones?
Jimmy G, because you know he's going to play at least.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's easy, right?
Yeah. Mac Jones got a chip on that shoulder, though.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to change the subject.
No. I love that. I mean, he was when he got drafted, he was walking like he had to take a poop. That's how I know he's got a chip on his shoulder.
All right. So, yeah, I mean, like Morgan said, I mean, if you go back and look at this, I mean, you have a lot of injured guys. Kittle only played half the season. I mean, I feel like he's going to bounce back. I'm not worried.
No, I agree with that.
Don't keep it on the wide receiver kind of train. So Debo played only 7 games. You have Kendrick Bourne, who's now gone to New England.
How many targets did he vacate?
74.
Okay.
So I mean that's a nice chunk. Richie James, he got in there for 35 targets. I mean, Ayuk, as a rookie, he missed 4 games and went 60 for 96, which that's not, again, for who all was throwing to him.
It's not that bad of a sample.
Yeah. So 700, just right under 750 yards and 5 touchdowns. Yeah, I mean, this wide receiver core potential is there. And I mean, like going off of this sample that was the 2020 49ers season is just very skewed and
correct.
Yeah. And this is like worst, I would call it worst possible scenario.
Well, it's almost, hear me out. It's almost like having a team that's changed, that's revamped its offense. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Not because the offense has changed, but because all these people are practically coming back fresh because they didn't really have continuity last year.
It's like like talking about a truck, man. It's like a V8 that loses 4 cylinders.
Yes, and so now you're just putting along, Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah. It is like that, and so we don't really have any way of gauging how good it could be, other than the fact that they were in the Super Bowl 2 years ago.
Yes.
Yes.
With that said, let's talk about these running backs.
Mm-hmm.
Tevin Coleman, he did diddly dig last year, and now he's gone to the Jets, kind of a afterthought. And then this running back game, all these running backs, it was kind of like at one point it's almost like you got to have them all. It's like Pokemon, because there's all these like each guy would jump in and be like, they would come in and do something big, and then it's like the target share. This was the ideal running back by committee. Something, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So Jeffrey Wilson last year in 12 games, 126 carries for 600 yards, 7 touchdowns. Torn his meniscus in May. I think he's due back second half of the season ish.
Yeah. I wouldn't count on that, but that's what they say. Yeah.
Then you have Mostert. He missed half the season. He had right over 100 carries, right over 500 yards, only 2 touchdowns. We talked about McKinnon. McKinnon had all these injury prones, whatever. As long as he was a 49er, he actually played all 16 games last year. 5 touchdowns on 81 carries. So right over 300 yards. And then JaMychal Hasty, I think last year was his rookie year.
Yep.
And he got in there he had 39 carries. So and then now we have Trey Sermon coming in. I think he's getting a lot of hype, guys. I don't know.
Man,
he's getting a lot of hype.
He's getting a lot, and he's not a rookie.
And
there's a lot that remains to be seen, but I can understand the hype behind him based off of certain traits he has. And if you think about it, if we could consolidate all of the production across the board from those running backs into one running back, they'd be a really good running back, right?
Yeah.
So there's that. But, you and I were talking about it earlier too. It always feels like the Shanahans have been able to take anybody and put them back there to get production out of them. They drafted, in 2012 or 13, I think it was 12, they drafted the Washington Redskins. They were the Redskins then. They drafted Alfred Morris out of Florida Atlantic, I think.
No, I thought he was undrafted.
No, I think he was a 6th rounder.
Okay.
Either way, either he was super late or not at all, right?
Mm-hmm.
That dude ran for 1,600 yards that year.
Insane.
Alfred Morris.
Yeah. I remember that debate because, we had a debate in one of our redraft leagues.
There was a year where they made Ryan Grant get touches.
Yeah.
There was a year where they made Ryan Terrain viable. Blame it on Terrain. Remember that one?
Yes.
Yep. I was still pursuing my first championship. I was a lowly fantasy player then.
You were a young buck.
But the point is, they always seem to be able to plug and play these running backs, like it, except for Tevin Coleman, because he wasn't really made to run in an outside zone scheme. That's all. But if they're made to run in that style of scheme, it is really conducive for running backs. If they can just consolidate the bulk of it to one person, it would be such a huge fantasy asset.
Yeah.
But I don't know that they will. I'm just spitballing here.
How about you?
I'd love it to happen. And I'd love it for I would love if we could find out if it's going to be Mostert or Sermon. I'm scared that it's going to be a Mostert/Sermon thing to start the year. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I think Raheem Mostert's probably going to, if we start the year right now, everything as is, I think Raheem Mostert would be a 60% and Sermon would probably get a 40%, and I think there's the whole Elijah Mitchell thing. What's going to happen with him? And then Raheem Mostert's a guy that gets injured a lot. There's a lot that's going to happen between now and the start of the season. And this is a team where it is, when it comes to Sunday and you're trying to put a 49ers running back in,
it's tough.
I don't see you feeling good. I don't see you feeling great about it unless Trey Sermon has taken over the job.
Yeah.
All right. So is there any running back on this team that you would take as as your starting running back?
No.
Right now, no. But I could see a situation happening in training camp where maybe Trey Sermon would be my RB2.
So you could definitely see a scenario where one of these guys definitely taps running back 2 territory.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I mean draftable. Yeah, I mean I'm saying that as draftable as my RB2. But
yeah,
as is somebody on this roster right now will be an RB2 at least.
Sure. Well, the question is who?
Yeah.
Paper, rock, scissors.
All right, so I mean, going back to what Shane's saying, this just reminds me of like when I fill out like a DraftKings lineup, and whichever one I don't pick is the one that's going to blow up.
Yeah, totally.
And the other one's just going to shit the bed.
Yep. So then I do both of them, and they both shit the bed. There's that.
So, kind of, Shane, I'm kind of piggybacking off of you.
Piggyback on, bro.
I'm off of you and your idea because it's so great. Who are you drafting in a 12-team redraft? Are you drafting Sermon? I guess right now we're at Sermon versus Mostert, and who are you drafting first?
Right now, it's Mostert, but I don't have much confidence in it. I believe that every week Sermon's going to take over more ground. But right now, if we were drafting right now, it's a redraft. I would take Mostert.
Okay. For me, it's no risk it, no biscuit, baby. So I think Trey Sermon probably has more upside in my mind, and I would probably go him. But that's based off of curvilinear movement. You're welcome. Look it up.
Yeah. At that point, I feel like at that point in the draft,
Yeah.
and I'm probably looking at what round 7, 8-ish.
Wow, I figured. Yeah,
I
I figured
mean,
most of them were 6,
right?
but
No,
I don't know.
I could see one of them making it there. Yeah. In a 12 team
Yeah, 12 team,
start. Yeah.
like 7, 8-ish, and then again,
Especially in redraft.
and then hopefully you have your two running backs already, right? And then you're looking at your RB3, and then you are kind of going ceiling, right?
I mean, hopefully you took Nick Chubb and Zeke Elliott before you got to that point.
Yeah.
I'd be able
But then so let's do this for wide receiver too. In a 12-team redraft, are you taking Ayuk or Debo?
Ayuk.
to-
Although I could see a scenario where a healthy Debo, I'm going to take Ayuk because I think he can stay healthier, and I think that he's more true to his position. But I could see a scenario where Debo Samuel gets enough volume all over the place to outdo him. But I feel more comfortable taking Ayuk.
Josh, who'd you say between Mostert and Sermon?
I again, like I said, like where I think they're going to go.
Yeah, no. If you're drafting today, you got 2 in a bucket. You got to grab one.
Yeah, then I'm going to go based on where I think they're going to go in a 12-team redraft. I'm going to go Sermon for the upside.
All right, so both of you go Sermon first. So then would you go Raheem Mostert or Gus Edwards?
Gus Edwards, because
Gus.
I'm not trying to have handcuffs on the same team on my team. I know a guy that I've talked to about this extensively. He's staring at me with a smirk, and it's a bad idea to handcuff your own players. Go get everybody else's players.
Josh, who'd you say?
Gus. I'm on the Gus bus.
I love the Gus bus.
I would do.
Man, you guys are. That's surprising to me.
If you told me I had to draft 2 running backs,
I think the Ravens run more than any other team in the league.
Yeah,
that's why I'm going that way.
If we ever did a draft where we had to do like team running back, like Ravens running backs would probably be.
Hang on. Yeah, they run more than any other team in the league.
I know Lamar runs a lot of it.
Yeah, I would guess that the 49ers running backs run more than the Ravens running backs. All right, Josh, what were we saying? If we ever did a draft where we would take all a team's running backs?
Yeah, I would go Ravens probably very, very high.
No! Oh, over 49ers?
Probably.
If you get to play a team's for running backs, you would take Ravens over 49ers?
Probably.
I wouldn't.
Well, I've never done it before, and I'm spitballing, and I've had a couple beers, and at the end of our podcast. So, hey, it's not for bold predictions, baby.
You know what? I'm wrong. I'm wrong tremendously, I think. I think the 49ers ran the most. No, that ain't right. Hold on. Y'all keep talking. Don't make me sound stupid. I do a good enough job on my own.
No, I'm why Morgan's looking, did we all go consensus? Ayuk over.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm with you guys. And then I feel like we've kind of touched on. I think we're good. On everything on the Niners list. I think Morgan's got one more thing.
All right. So basically, the Ravens ran the ball 555 times last year. Mm-hmm. The Niners ran it 437.
Wow.
So I guess that's just where I'm coming from with it is all. But I could see your point, Shane. So that's really it. That's my point. That was just it. Okay. I just think that the Ravens have more heavier rushing attack as well.
Who do you guys think is of worth? I feel like we kind of breezed past it. Who's of worth since Akers is gone? It's Darrell Henderson, and then who are you looking at? What do you think we're going to see in the preseason? You think we're going to get to see Xavier Jones, Jake Funk, Raymond Calais?
I think you'll see a lot. Honestly, yeah, because there's one less preseason game.
You got to figure out what you got.
They got to figure out what they got, and they got to figure out if they need to bring in somebody else.
So we have 3 preseason games this year?
Correct.
I didn't know that.
Can we talk about, real quick, the fact that the day after that Cam Akers injury, the amount of Gurley tweets, but the amount of Kareem Hunt tweets.
Oh, I didn't even see any of those.
You didn't see any of those where people were like, "Oh, you got to trade for Kareem Hunt," and then everybody started getting in on it. Like Mike Clay got in on it, and he was like, "Oh man, I never even thought about this scenario. That would be awesome." And then all the speculation started coming out. Would you agree that the Browns would be freaking stupid to trade him,
Absolutely.
being that you've got Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, and you're trying to make a Super Bowl push? So why would you trade him, right?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Makes sense.
And there's
Unless they give you Jalen Ramsey.
Like, it's fun to speculate. I guess what I'm getting at is like there was all this speculation that they should trade for Kareem Hunt, or maybe just the implication that they should. But in what world would they? Like, what would you have to get in return? They don't have any first rounders to give up.
No.
Yeah.
They're like 3 years out on them.
They're like the supply company on draft picks.
They're like me in 2018. I was like 3 years worth of first round picks out.
So they're on back order.
Yeah.
I mean, and I don't think that they've got options to exhaust before all that shit goes down.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, maybe would it be the worst thing to give Gurley a run if he was open to coming back?
they don't have anybody, but
I don't think you have to. I think that Henderson can probably handle this year, and maybe you address it next year.
Yeah.
What do you think the likelihood is that Akers makes a full recovery and can take that job back?
This year?
It's an Achilles tear, man.
Yeah.
He's
Has any running back ever made it back to running starting back status after that?
I'll tell you this: Jamal Charles didn't.
Marlon Mack is going to be the test case this year.
Jamal was up. I mean, Jamal was up there, guys.
Yeah, he was amazing.
I mean, I'm biased.
I know you are, but you're reasonably biased because he was amazing. He won me my first championship. So I'll never forget him.
All right, guys. Anything else on the 49ers?
No.
All right, boys. I think that's it.
That's it.
That's it. We have one more division.
I won't be here on the next one. I'm going to be on vacation. That's long overdue. I will call you all every day and annoy you while I'm on the beach getting hammered at 5 a.m.
God, I can't wait.
Which beach you going to?
Carolina Beach.
Where's that?
It's in between Topsail and Myrtle Beach.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, it's we're staying on a spit of land that you could, Uncle Rico could probably easily clear with a football. So I feel good about it.
Shane, do you have any fluke information you want to divulge?
No, I got some work to do.
Okay.
It's all good. Keep everybody good.
Hey, you know what I want one of the games to be? There's that corny ass. I've never seen the show, but I saw it in the App Store the other day. It's Can You Beat Shazam?
Oh yeah.
And you just play a couple tunes of a song. I think that's got to be one of them.
Hey, we're gonna discover a good one.
What?
How many marshmallows can you fit in your mouth?
That's a good one. Chubby Bunny.
Yeah.
Are we still recording?
Yes.
I shoved a whole entire barbecue sandwich in my mouth for Levi earlier.
Oh, he loved it.
Dude, I ate a Levi.
But then I couldn't breathe, so I had to pull it back out.
Wait, that shit good. It's
It
not
was a good
real
one.
life, not SpongeBob. So weird.
I've never seen anybody do it before.
Well,
He's like, hey, Levi, watch this.
I did. It was great.
Hold my beer.
Hold my beer while I block my airway with a barbecue sandwich.
Hey, all right.
I want to sculpt it to be less physical this year and see how many people complain because I had a fucking stroke. So,
Well, dude, I was thinking like, and just hear me out. Like, would it be so bad to have like intellectual competitions?
no, it was
Right?
supposed to be the whole time. It's just nobody ever recommended it.
I mean, don't get me wrong. The draft is a full out intellectual competition. Usually,
It's just lasting while drinking. How long
Yeah.
do you drink it?
it's just the last thing we do.
Yes. No, it was supposed to always have elements of intellect and elements of, and it was always, the point was always that you could wreck a game that you knew that you would win at.
Right.
You know, that's what the point's
Yeah.
always been. It is now and always has been a league for the people. So,
If we have a game that can test someone's couthness, I think I'm going to win.
do you think
I'm one couth motherfucker. Let me
you're
tell you.
very couth.
Oh, thank you.
Not a couth.
Self-proclaimed. No, Gary's a coot.
I was gonna say.
Measure of coolness. All right, guys, let's get out of here.
Yeah, that's
One
good.
more division to do next week. For Shane, had a fantasy hack. Thanks for coming on, babe.
Good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, for the Morgue Mart, be on vacation. Enjoy your vacation, brother.
Thank you, sir.
Super stoked for you to go on vacation. Tasty waves to you.
Yep.
At Morgue Mart, you can find me at jhicks804. You can find all of us on Twitter at @thefluke_FF. Thank you guys for listening. One more division to do. Probably do some, a sleeper. One of my favorite podcasts of the year, The Haters Ball, will be soon.
Hey, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and throw this out there. I might call in from vacation to the podcast.
Can't fucking wait.
That'd be awesome.
Can't wait.
There might be drugs. Oh, boy.
Yeah, go
Whatever.
ahead.
If you don't know where I am, it's not illegal. So boom.
Hey, and marijuana is legal for me, everybody.
Yeah, it is. You can grow 4 plants now.
Yeah.
We're here now, right? Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, man. You can legally grow 4 plants in Virginia.
What a wild world.
And there's no limit to how big said plant can be. 10-foot ganja trees. Yeah.
Very good to go out on. Guys, thank you for listening. We'll be back next week. Thank you for listening to The Fluke.